there. My name is Kylie Gates, and this is my video submission for the final assignment Assistive Technology Device Review for EEX 4763. The name of my device is the Clarity P300, and what that means is it is a telephone that can be connected to a telephone line in which the audio is amplified. There are high contrast buttons in which the numbers are enlarged as well, and there is a picture button speed dial function. The phone additionally has a flasher at the bottom that supplements the ringer, and the LED is brighter than the average flashing light. According to the manual, the decibel output for the ringer of the phone can reach up to 75 decibels. And what is rather profound about that is someone who is hard of hearing and who has mild hearing loss can benefit from an additional 18 to 28 decibels, whereas someone with moderate hearing loss can benefit from about 30 to 48 decibels, and someone with severe hearing loss can benefit from about 50 to 55 decibels. So the ringer on this phone can amplify well beyond that of someone with severe hearing loss. Additionally, the regular phone output that you would hear when you're talking to someone, that can be amplified by another 26 decibels. Furthermore, the speed dial picture buttons can actually be replaced with your personal pictures. The phone company Clarity provided this card that gives you a cutout so you can measure the size of the pictures that you would need to be put in underneath. There is a slide cover in front that you just slide under the notches, and then underneath is where you can see the buttons. There are 9 speed dial buttons in which phone numbers can be programmed to. And the programming buttons are down here. Prog for program. They have a hold button, flash button. There is a redial button as well, in which when you hold down the redial button, whichever phone number was last called, it will automatically recall that number. A 360 tour of the device. On the back side, it can be seen that the phone can be connected to the wall. It can be hung up by the wall, as well as there is a piece in this bag that you can attach, and it can be set up and propped on a counter instead of being hung up on the wall. On the side, there is the ringer switch that can be turned on or off, low or high. And this piece is a input device in which other audio or hearing aids, hearing devices can be connected. And on this side of the phone, this is the connector piece in which the phone cord is plugged in. On the bottom side, there's a better view of the flasher that has the LED that supplements when the ringer is going off on the phone, as well as the bottom side of the phone, which has the other connector piece. On the front part, again, are the buttons. They are high contrast in which the buttons are black, the letter writing is white. The numbers themselves are enlarged. And then with the placement of the picture speed dial buttons back in place, I can better show how this part would work. for someone using the device. So these pictures are shown. There are family members here, one singular family member, and so on. These can be replaced with your own personal pictures, as stated before, using this card for measurement. And simply, all the person would have to do, the person using the device, would press the picture and it would automatically call that person because of the buttons behind the pictures. Additionally, the phone is a regular pickup phone in which when you pick it up, this button shows it connects that the phone is being picked up and the audio will come out unless there is a device plugged in through this aux cord or aux input. And on the bottom, again, we have the different programming buttons. However, there are also these slider switches in which you can change the pitch of the ringer, whether it's low to high, again, high being up to 75 decibels. And then on this side, we have the clarity power in which this amplifies the volume of the output of the actual phone call, what you're listening to from the other person. So, ringer pitch, phone call volume. So, with some of these functions, it is obvious that this phone is used to help those who have hearing loss. That is due to the additional decibels that the phone can output, as well as the aux input that can be connected to certain hearing aids or other hearing devices. However, another disability that this phone can assist are those who are visually impaired. That is due to the high contrast buttons and the enlarged numbers. And you could also say due to the speed dial picture buttons, although the pictures are small, instead of the person having to see the numbers, if they either can remember where the pictures are or can see the pictures, whether by using, instead of a picture of someone's face that would be difficult to see, they could use a enlarged symbol that resembles or reminds them of that person. They could use that in the picture box to then press and call that person. I believe those are two of the more obvious disabilities that this phone could assist. However, while working with a student in my junior internship, this phone spoke to me in helping those who are intellectually disabled, IND. And the reason for that is this specific student that I worked with could not remember her phone number. That was something we practiced every day, but the student still could not remember it. And so by having this picture button speed dial function, if she had a phone that could do that, all she would have to do is press the button and she would be able to call her guardian. Additionally, for students with or people with intellectual disabilities, the redial button would be useful in that whoever was last called could just press the redial button. They would not have to remember any of the phone numbers. As well as this button here is for emergencies. Students with IND or people with intellectual disabilities may not be able to remember to call 911 in emergencies, and this button here could be programmed to just click and call 911 if there was an emergency. Additionally, a bonus disability that this phone could assist are people with fine motor disabilities. Unfortunately, I do not believe people with fine motor disabilities would have an easy time pressing the speed dial buttons, as you do need force in your finger or strength in your finger to press the buttons. However, these enlarged buttons where you dial the phone number are much easier to press and do not require a lot of force. The fact that you do not need force, as well as the fact that the buttons are enlarged themselves, would help those with fine motor disabilities, as they would not have to focus so much on the accuracy as well as the pressure needed to press the buttons. Ways that families and teachers or other school personnel can help students learn and use this assistive technology device is by teaching life skills of how to dial a phone number, as well as students who have the ability. You can teach them how to program the speed dial numbers. There is a certain process of holding the program button, typing in the number, holding the program button again, and clicking which button you want that number to be connected to. That could be a process that students could be taught, um, as well as the social skill of picking up a phone, speaking, talking, holding a conversation with someone on the phone. This may be a difficult task for students as they may need that visual experience to have a better time focusing on the conversation and withstanding that conversation with the person. That could be a social skill that could be taught, as well as teachers could implement the use of this assistive technology device, this telephone in the classroom, by supplementing it with the classroom telephone or using it in the classroom to make calls home. If a teacher needs to make a sunshine call or a positive call home, they could practice with the student making that call from this telephone. Another huge, significant activity that could be implemented with this phone is the life skill and very important skill of knowing what to do in an emergency. That could be learning 911 as well as programming it to this button and calling 911, as well as including that in an activity in which students are taught how to respond to an emergency, how to go straight to a phone, and how to dial 911 in order to then call and report that emergency. Finally, my overall experience going to the FAST services was very good. I really enjoyed the person that I spoke to with going through the devices and selecting the one that I wanted to complete my project on. I was originally looking for something a little more high tech in the terms of like an iPad or something with speech to text and something really that would help a student with dyslexia. I was looking to find something that I could bring into my junior intern placement school and use with a specific student. However, those I did not have those kind of options when I got there, but I was very grateful to find the Clarity P300 as it also began to resonate with me with other students that I've worked with at my junior intern placement school. I chose this device because of that, and I thought that it would be really beneficial to this project. I felt that it met all the requirements in terms of my review of it, as well as it engaged me in thinking beyond the use of a telephone, thinking about someone with an intellectual disability. How would it help them? How does it help someone with fine motor disabilities? Going beyond the obvious of that, it has amplified volume, so of course it's going to help someone who's hard of hearing. I also, if I could have chosen another device, it would have been an iPad, or there was a pen that the person who was working there and I originally thought it was a pen that when you highlight text, it reads it. Unfortunately, it was just a grip pen to help people with motor disabilities. So if that pen was a reader, I was going to go with that option as well. And how does this experience benefit me as a future educator? Well, the overall fact that I now know fast services exist benefits me as a future educator more than anything else that I've experienced, other than getting to work with students in person. Having the access, knowing that fast services exist, and understanding all of the different devices that they have there that I can use with students is going to benefit me incredibly. I now have a way to help students with technology that I did not have before, and it goes beyond what I can do from home or what I can create on my own, and goes beyond, and I'll be able to meet their needs better than what I can create, because I now have a place that has access to certain devices that I know will help my students in the future.